Let's pick up the crunch time tape because it was nip and tuck all throughout the fourth quarter. Clippers try to create some separation late in the fourth. The course going up 107-101. We'll pick it up here at 101-97. Brandon Pajewski again. High-level basketball game. Pods, 19 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Made 2 of 4 of his 3-point attempts there. Then Stephen Curry to tie it right there at 103 apiece. And Chase Center was rocking, Fezzy.
Struggled a lot of this game because of that thumb. But when it's game time, Bonte, come on, man. You know exactly what they do. Put the ball in the chef's hands.
No doubt.
Two huge 3-point shots there.
Absolutely. Steph Curry again for the top of the key. The Warriors up 4. Steffi is shimmying right there under 2 minutes, but James Harden, as you guys mentioned, he played a phenomenal basketball game going to the cup right there. He was 8 of 9 from the free throw line, scored 39 points in all. Kawhi Leonard, he looks all the way back, but a great play right here by Dunn, the Zubats for the alley-oop. Clippers tied up at 111. Draymond Green fouled Kawhi right before this, so the Clippers were able to get the last shot. But, Bully, you didn't like the possession, right?
Well, I thought Kawhi Leonard, look, before this shot, he's 13 of 17. So, obviously, he knows what shot he wants. I thought he got the shot he wanted. I think technically you'd like to see him drive that basketball. But when a guy's 13 for 17, you live with whatever shot he wants to take.
Now the Warriors go to overtime with the LA Clippers, and overtime around these parts hasn't gone so well for the Dubs. They were 5-19 entry today in overtime since December 19th of 2017, and they dropped to 5-20 as the Clippers at 111 apiece. James Harden, his first of back-to-back 3-point shots. And here it is against Jimmy Butler, top of the key, step back daddy. We've seen that before. Clippers up 6, but next possession, Fezzy, Draymond Green with a huge corner 3. Look, he was 7 for his last 35 for the 3-point line. He goes 4-6 for the perimeter today to get the Warriors back within 3, but James Harden has that ball on the string, creates a foul right there to hit the 2 free throws, and he really controlled the pace in overtime, Fezzy.
It is an automatic mismatch, Bonte. I mean, James Harden, we know him as a point guard now, but he is a bucket every time he gets the ball and gets downhill.
No doubt about that. Stephen Curry with another 3 right there. Had the tape on his thumb. He did commit 8 turnovers, and that was a knock on his game. Great play right there. Jimmy Butler did not get the and one as the Clippers challenged his play. We thought it was going to be an and one for Jimmy Butler, but it was overturned, and the Clippers burned their last time out, but they win the challenge. Kawhi, great defense there by Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler. However, Jimmy Butler came up limping. That's something to monitor before we get ready for Tuesday. GP2, nice find to Draymond Green.
Up, Dave.
But he blows the layup right there. Ooh. Clippers up 2. No, Draymond would love to have that one back right there in the paint. And I wonder, fellas, I'll ask you, the Warriors chose to wait a little bit to foul. Would you have fouled right away, Bully?
Well, you only had a few seconds different, but it wound up being okay. They got the possession, they got the shot they wanted, not the person shooting the shot they preferred.
No doubt, Buddy Hield for the tie right there in overtime, and he does not make it. It comes up short, and the Warriors come up short, and they'll be playing on Tuesday. So a phenomenal basketball game. But still, when you think about this season, last Wednesday against San Antonio, the Brooklyn game earlier this season, how about giving up 20-plus points to Utah in the final 3 minutes? You put yourself in this position to have to win a game to get in the playoffs on Tuesday night. And won all 4 matchups this season against the Dubs. But let's match up against the Memphis Grizzlies to check out the season stats. As the Warriors did win that season series 2-1. And of course, they won in Memphis where Stephen Curry went crazy and dropped 52. And you see the points per game. Memphis, of course, 125, which was really inflated with that 51-point win. They did lose Jalen Wells. He's out for the season, a rookie out of Wazoo by way of Sonoma State. And John Morant and company have been struggling. Jaren Jackson Jr., they lost a tough back-to-back at home to Minnesota where they gave up 52 points in the third quarter. And, of course, they lost the next night in Denver, Colorado. So they've been struggling a bit. Now they get new life against a familiar foe. This is going to be a riveting game on Tuesday night, Fezzy. We'll have all the coverage for you here on NBC Sports Bay Area Plus. That's right. We'll be on the Plus channel for Warriors pregame live against the Memphis Grizzlies as we get ready for the play-in game. And the winner will go on to take on the Houston Rockets in a best-of-7 first-round series in the Western Conference. All right, let's pick up the Steph Curry tape because he was dynamic, especially in the fourth quarter. We tried to will the Warriors to a victory there. 18 points in the fourth quarter. 23 of his 36 in the second half, despite the tape on his finger. But he's going to look back at his film and say, boy, I cannot turn the ball over 8 times. Obviously, the bandage and a big wrap on his right thumb had an effect on his turnovers tonight, Malik.
Yeah, I thought even to start the game, Bonte and Fez, I noticed just handling the basketball was a little tough for Steph. It didn't affect his shooting. But when you're handling the basketball, you're using your thumb a lot more. People are reaching and grabbing and things like that. So I thought it affected his floor game more than it did his shooting. He was dynamic in the fourth quarter. They needed all those points. But once again, I'm really encouraged because not only Steph, but the rhythm and flow. You saw him playing off the dribble, and you also saw him getting a nice balanced attack of catch and shoot plays. When that's going, the Warriors are really hard to defend.
Timely shots by the LA Clippers, 2 on Stephen Curry, but he did go 9 for 9 from the free throw line, so he was able to get to the charity stripe. And again, the Warriors would be playing Tuesday night after a tough loss to the LA Clippers. Tonight, the Clippers will get 6 days off. We'll hear from the head coach of the Warriors on the other side, Steve Kerr, here on Toyota Warriors Postgame Live. And key number 1, win the points off turnover battle, which the Warriors did by 3, but some untimely turnovers by the Dubs today, Fezzi.
Well, the Warriors' turnovers are not equal to the Clippers' turnovers because when you turn the ball over as the Warriors, you're getting out of rhythm, which is how you play. The Clippers play one-on-one, so it doesn't affect them as much, Monte.
All right, no slip into the non-Steph minutes. Very good in non-Steph minutes, especially in the first half where the Warriors went on a 19-4 run to help get it or to stretch the lead out to 11 points. Willie played very well with Steph Curry off the floor.
No question. We saw playoff Jimmy in full effect, very aggressive, 12 of 20 from the field and 30 points. Those non-Steph Curry minutes, Jimmy Butler handles them beautifully.
Right. 18 is a magic number. The Warriors fall short of that by 3, but a very good night from the three-point line, 15 of 33 as we welcome everybody back to Toyota Warriors Postgame Live here at the Gatehouse in Thrive City. That is Mully, Fezzi, I am Bonte, and Jimmy Butler. We saw a glimpse of playoff Jimmy, especially in that first half. He finished with 30 points and 9 assists, was dominating the third quarter. Got to the free throw line 9 times, uncharacteristically missed 3 free throws. We're not accustomed to that, Fezzi fell, but Jimmy had a big-time game, showing some emotion. 2 hands for safety on a dunk right there.
Big play right there. That steal, running all the way back in transition to get that steal. I thought Jimmy played huge tonight. He was incredible, especially in that first half. Steph Curry goes out with his thumb, or 2 fouls. Draymond Green's out because of the head injury, and Jimmy Butler's left with the bench, and he really rallied the whole bench. Buddy hit a big 3 to get the team into the game, and then Jimmy just took over. He was one-on-one. Put Bojan Bogdanovic in a blender. I felt like he didn't know what to do guarding Jimmy Butler. You know, this is what you need from Jimmy. He's the Robin to Steph Curry's Batman. But when Steph is out of the game, he is the first option. And his gravity is going to create offense for the rest of the team. I thought he did a great job playing that tonight.
As we take a look at the final team stat comparison from tonight, both teams shot it terrific from the floor. The Clippers shoot nearly 56%, the Warriors at 54.5%. They both shoot the 3 ball well, but that is a difference right there to rebounding. The Warriors are minus 17 on the glass tonight. Block shots, the Warriors are able to do that, but they do lose.
Wow.
6 blocks. Yeah, look at that.
Okay, big fellas.
Warriors are playing some defense out there, but they do get the L, and they'll be hosting the Grizzlies in a play-in tournament, which they wanted to avoid. Let's hear from the head coach of the Warriors, Steve Kerr, presented by BMW.
Steve, again, at that high level, that comes down to the very end against obviously huge plays made by them, huge plays made by you guys. Do you come out of it okay, our guys played well, we got another game, or do you come out of it mad? How do you?
It's a big time basketball game. I mean, that's one of the best teams in the NBA, and so are we. That's how I look at it. Great game, high level stuff, stars being stars. We came up short, but not for a lack of effort. A lot of great execution, a lot of stuff that was very impressive, but we couldn't quite pull it out.
Is there any kind of late game choices or mistakes you'd like back? I mean, I know there was you guys fouled pretty late in overtime, and I know at end of regulation you took the foul to give, but that took the shot clock off. Is any of that you feel like was a mistake?
Not really. You go for a steal first, and then you try to get the foul next, and we got what we wanted. We got the ball back down 3 and had a decent look. So it's like I said, high level basketball game, and both teams played really hard and really well, and we just came up a little short.
Jimmy was definitely limping there towards the end of overtime. Did you get any update? Is that at all?
It was his quad. I think he got a knee in the quad, but he said he's okay.
And did you go in this knowing that he was going to play 45, 46 minutes? Did you know that, or it just became clear that he wasn't going to come out?
It's a playoff game, I mean, Harden played 48, Kawhi played 47, Zubac's 42, Powell 44, Brandon 43. So when you get to these type games, you tighten up the rotation and you play your guys and you go for it.
And was that a direct result that Jonathan's not going to play if the guy he usually subs in for isn't going to come out of the game very much, or was there other reasons why Kuminga did not play tonight?
We've just found a group, with since Jimmy got here, that we're pretty comfortable with. Guy didn't play either. Guy's been our highest plus minus guy over the last 2 months. Both he and JK have been really impactful players for us, and doesn't mean they're out of the loop, going forward. It's just this is how this game played out.
Steve, how hard is it to offset a minus 17 rebounding deficit there, and what are the ways you can do it if it's possible even?
I thought that was the part of the game that the only part of the game really that bothered me a little bit. I thought there were 5 or 6 loose balls that we were very careless going after. One hand, I think Moses had one where it was a loose ball and he tried to retrieve with one hand. A couple times ball was on the floor. We tried to bounce it instead of going in, and it's a great lesson. We'll show those those clips and remind the guys that, the ball is gold. The ball is everything. And so we've got to do everything possible to secure the loose balls and the rebounds.
How much of that is Zubac's size? Because, I think in the 4 games.
All right, you heard from Steve right there. As the Warriors got out-rebounded by 17, he touched on that. But as you guys mentioned, the stars were out today at Chase Center. Let's start with James Harden on the other side, who saved his best for last in overtime. 12 of his 39 in the extra period, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 rebounds shy of a triple-double, 5 of 8 from the three-point line, including those back-to-back daggers in overtime to get the Clippers a 6-point lead. James Harden has been special this season. And look at tonight. He was under control, 13 to 23, Mully, 5 of 8 from the three-point line.
James Harden has had an incredible season this year, rejuvenated himself, playing great basketball. As other Clippers were out of the lineup, he kept his team afloat. Tonight was phenomenal. Last game, he had a triple-double. Tonight, I just thought he played a beautiful game. You see the efficiency numbers there, creating for his teammates. A lot of times in that fourth quarter and overtime, Steve Kerr went to zone. Ty Lue put the ball in James Harden's hand or Kawhi Leonard, forced the double team. They made the next right play. And you said earlier, Fezzi, this is mostly an isolation-heavy team, but they wound up getting 28 assists. And those double teams forced them to pass the basketball. They made the right play. But James Harden, I think he's had an incredible season this year. Tonight, he played like an MVP.
No doubt about that. Then he has Kawhi Leonard. You guys keep mentioning Kawhi Leonard.
That's a major adjustment.
Played 47 minutes and 25 seconds tonight. Kawhi is all the way back. And at times, he just looked like the best player on the floor. 33 points. You see the efficiency numbers, 4 of 8 from the three-point line. He'll defend anybody on the floor, including Stephen Curry. The Claw has some steals tonight, 3 steals in all. He's a scary player. The Clippers are going to be a scary matchup with this guy all the way healthy, Fezzi.
I thought the Warriors, one of the ways they got into this game after losing the first quarter was, when they started the game, was trying to get the ball, being aggressive with Kawhi off the, double team, bringing guys, making sure he puts it on the floor, trying to tap it out. When they adjusted and Kawhi started skipping the ball across court, then the offense shifted. They would skip it across and he would get it back and attack his guys one-on-one. Kawhi Leonard he's a machine. I can't believe that he came back from an ACL. Is that ACL?
He had all kind of issues with his leg.
And he's come back from a knee injury and he looks better than before he left.
Never gets sped up, Kawhi Leonard there. And the Clippers shoot over 56% from the floor, and they'll get 6 days off before their first round matchup. We'll hear from Draymond Green on the other side. Plus, the Warriors only went 9 deep. Steve Kerr went 9 deep in his rotation. Guess who he didn't play today? All right, let's check out the wild Western Conference standings. Yeah! Fezzi still's got some energy. The final standings before we get into the play-in, and what do you know? The Warriors end up in that dreaded box where they'll take on the Memphis Grizzlies Tuesday night right here at Chase Center. The Kings will host the Mavericks Wednesday night, with the winner of that game taking on the loser of Tuesday night's game. The Clippers will take on the Denver Nuggets in a first-round series. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, Minnesota, they'll take on the L.A. Lakers. The T-Wolves surging in the second half of the season to finish in the top 6. So Warriors in the box here. And, yeah, Fezzi, look, your head is down. You have vacation plans that you had to cancel. Let's discuss Draymond Green's night here. Draymond Green, 14 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Had a scare early in the first quarter with the neck. He did leave the game for a second, walked back to the locker room. He did come back in. 2 blocked shots. He was defending at a high level. He's going to look back, though, at that overtime layup where he's going to know that, should have had that. He was looking to draw the foul, but Draymond Green with a nice stat line, including the 4 made threes, which is something he'll need to do in the playoffs, Fezzi, because you know teams will leave him open from the perimeter.
I like Draymond taking those shots. I like him taking the three-point shots when they lay off of him, because you have to make the defense pay. If they're going to lay off of you to go double-team Steph and they throw that back, you have to shoot those shots. And Draymond did tonight. He made those shots, made 4 threes.
Well, let's hear from Draymond Green, who looks like he is primed for a good playoff performance.
Draymond, in an overtime game with 23 lead changes, how would you describe the intensity of every possession in a game that was already pressure-packed for the 6th seed?
I think 2 teams fighting to get in the playoffs. 2 veteran teams. We both been in these situations, know what it takes, which led to that intensity, and they got it done. We didn't.
Draymond, you just mentioned the fact that it was intense. You guys are veterans. You know how this goes, but you got one day between now and seeing Memphis here at home. How are you guys feeling in the locker room knowing that you got a quick turnaround like that?
We'll be fine with the quick turnaround. We haven't fared well in these play-in games, so got to make sure we locked in and ready to go. But as far as it being a quick turnaround, we'll be all right.
Draymond, I was just going to ask you about that, about your history in the play-in games. Do you see any pattern to it? And obviously you are a different team now with Jimmy than you have been before, and he's had great success in a play-in situation. Do you draw on that at all?
We just draw on having Jimmy as a whole. He saw the effort he put out there tonight. That's it. Not necessarily the experience in the play-in or any of that. Just riding our aces. That's it.
Draymond, what are the ways you can sort of offset a rebounding deficit? You guys were minus 17 in rebounding in a day, and how hard is it to win when you're that far behind on rebounding?
It's tough to win. We also didn't get a lot of loose balls, so it's rebounding is one thing. But then some of these loose balls that are just bouncing and we're not getting, the long rebounds, they're loose, we're not getting. So we got to be better at getting loose balls.
Draymond, you referred to this a little bit with Jimmy, but how's the vibe different in a big game like this with him as an asset? It seemed like so much of the game was running through him. How does it feel different with him in this kind of setting, and if going forward, if you do make the playoffs?
It's completely different. You have a guy who can kind of slow the pace of the game down for us, get us into good things. And, just having that extra added weapon, having another number one next to Steph is different, and so definitely makes us a much better team tonight. We didn't capitalize on this great game, but, it makes us a much more complete team, better team.
It's not Eric Congo.
Yeah,
we'll get to that in just a second.
Okay, why they ground that plane? Okay, Eric Tomball.
2 hands for safety there, Jimmy Butler. How about that? Nice pass here. Look at Loon Dog. He knows what to do with it.
Could have definitely used Eric Congo tonight.
6 points, 3 assists for Loon Dog, and then Jimmy Butler. He was feeling springy today. A nice spring day in San Francisco. 2 hands for safety. Jimmy buckets.
Okay.
But let's talk about the plane that was grounded. Jonathan Kuminga. Steve Kerr went 9 deep, a playoff rotation, and there's no doubt the offense has looked a bit clunky. Steve Kerr touched on it last week, where he touched on the combination of Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and J.K. being on the floor at the same time, and just mentioned that did not work. Well, he's averaged over 15 points a game this season. He's a restricted free agent after the season, and tonight, in the biggest game of the season thus far, did not play. But it feels like, Fezzi, they're going to need J.K. at some point if they want to go on a deep run.
Yeah, Bonte, as someone who has been in this position where, you go into a playoff game and you don't play, I think for JK, being ready is going to be important because they need him. No matter what happened today, they need JK to make a run because his youth, his athleticism. Because think about tonight. You had Jimmy Butler, Steph, and Draymond. All 3 of them at one point in this game had something where it looked scary. Steph Curry, his thumb, had him out the game. Draymond Green at some point looked like he was going to get out. And Jimmy Butler at the end of the game is limping. You need Jonathan Kuminga. And he comes into the game, he's going to give you – but that's part of also youth. You also have to be okay with the ups and downs of having a young player on the rotation. But you know what he brings, the upside is way more than any of the things that you have young mistakes that he might make on the court.
Do not forget, folks, Tuesday on NBC Sports Bay Area Plus, we will have your coverage for pre- and post-game live starting at 6 p.m. for the Warriors and the Grizzlies. The winner will take on the Houston Rockets. The loser will have to wait the winner of the Sacramento Kings Dallas Mavericks game on Wednesday. That, of course, that game will take place at the G1C Dakota One Center. So more coming up here, including our highlight zone. And there was plenty to choose from, man. This was a high-level basketball game, but the Warriors come up on the short end of it. Let's check out the Western Conference playoff bracket. Of course, the Warriors will host the Memphis Grizzlies Tuesday at Chase Center, 7 p.m. tip. We'll have your coverage at 6 p.m. on NBC Sports Bay Area Plus. The Kings and Mavericks Wednesday night in Sacramento. Of course, the Thunder will await the 8 seed, of course, which will happen on Friday. Denver, the Clippers, what a fascinating 7-game series. That series will start in the Mile High City. The Lakers will host the Minnesota Timberwolves. They'll have home court advantage in that one as Minnesota ended the year strong. A 52-point third quarter Thursday night in Memphis. And, of course, the Rockets, who've been red hot. They had won 15-17 at one point before resting all their stars. They await the winner of the 7-8 game, of course, Tuesday. Let's hear from B. Paz, who's at the podium right now.
It's not necessarily the outcome you wanted going into this one, but, you got another game on Tuesday, pretty quick turnaround. How are you guys feeling going into this one?
We feel fine. After the game the other night in Portland, we essentially have 3 home games to win 1, and we didn't get it done in the first try, so we got 2 more cracks at it.
Brandon, you guys needed a 52 from Steph the last time you guys played the Grizzlies. What can you learn from that last game for Tuesday night?
It was just one of those nights where he got hot. So we did our best to get him the ball. Obviously, with Jalen Wells out now for them, it might look a little bit different in how they guard him. But everybody's ready to step up. Everybody's ready for the moment.
You had 7 rebounds tonight. The rest of the starters combined to have 7. How do you guys get better on the glass, and especially with some of those loose balls as well?
I think that's the biggest thing. The glass we're going to take care of. It's just the loose balls. There's 3-4 possessions out there that we could have had that they got tonight, and whether it resulted in points or not, it just gave more of a rhythm. And so we get those. I think we have a better chance of winning the game.
At the end of the regular season, the bumps and bruises really pile up. How much does it hurt that you guys won't have a week off and that you have to play Tuesday?
I just look at another opportunity. We get to play the game we all love. Another opportunity to play with all of our brothers that we've formed a connection with throughout the year. And, quite frankly, we just got to win one more game, and that's just what it is. It's not the most ideal thing, but you got to look at things, both sides of the story, and we get another opportunity to play.
Lots of guys played heavy minutes tonight. You were over 40. Jimmy played 48. What did he give you in those 48 minutes?
Everything we could ask for from him. Play well, score the ball, assisted, got stops when it meant the most, and that's what playoff Jimmy's about.
To have somewhat of a slow start to a season and then get to a point where you're a starter and you are playing heavy and important minutes for a team headed in a game that had such heavy implications, does that fuel you at all as you go into the play-in, knowing how your game has progressed this season?
I think how I'm playing now is just kind of how I envision myself playing, in the summertime. Going into the season, obviously it didn't start the way I would have liked, but I give credit to my teammates. They've, stuck with me. Even the coaching staff stuck with me, giving me confidence when times were bad and just knowing it all shake out how it was supposed to shake out. I knew I wasn't a 15% three-point shooter, and I've turned it around. I don't know what I'm at now, but I've turned it around, and couldn't be more happier that, me and the team are playing as well as we are right now.
Play number 2. Pods, how did he make this?
How about N1?
No N1?
No N1. No N1 apparently.
Tough shot.
19.7 rebounds, 4 assists for Pods. He is playoff ready. Nice bounce back performance for Pods. Yeah, no foul. So I guess,
Love the pull up though. Love the pull up.
Love the pull up. His mid-range jumper has come a long way.
You got to keep taking them. Got to keep taking them.
And play number 1, would you like to have this dance with me? Bogdanovich is getting cooked today. Jimmy Butler, Stephen Curry, with the wrap on his finger, 23 of his 36 in the second half, 18 in the fourth quarter alone, Mully.
Incredible performance by Steph. We talked about having a bullseye on his thumb. I think they had a bullseye on Bogdanovich. They were going at him.
You're about to make a villain story out of Bogdanovich, man. He's about to come out this playoffs and go crazy at some point.
Well, may I have every dance with you, please?
All right, Toyota, drive ahead. We're looking ahead to Tuesday, of course, but a flashback, Willie. Our first year working together, Fezzi, you weren't around yet for this playoff game.
Like, where is
the play-in
Where are
game?
the fans?
Looks like the McDonald's Open in Barcelona. Those
Pandemic
colors.
season, and we've come a long way in this country, man. And John Morant and company won this game in overtime. Remember Grayson Allen hit a big three, and the Memphis Grizzlies stole this game to send the Warriors home.
I thought tonight was an incredible game. Tough loss, 13-8 in overtime, but this performance reenacted on Tuesday will result in a win over the Memphis Grizzlies.
All right, don't forget our coverage begins at 6 p.m. on NBC Sports Bay Area. Plus, the Warriors will host the Memphis Grizzlies. John Morant and company will come here trying to steal the show. But if the Warriors win, they'll take on the Houston Rockets. We'll hear from Jimmy Butler on Dubs Talk Live next with the great KB, Kerr Burke, and Dalton Johnson. Have a good day, everybody.